With a no-knead dough and a no-cook sauce, this pan pizza is about as simple a pie as you can get without ordering delivery. The only catch is the dough needs a little time to proof before you can roll it and top it, but the flavor and texture make it 100% worth the wait. Alright, to get things started, we are going to make some homemade dough here. We're going to go in with a couple of cups of bread flour, maybe 2.5. As always, the exact amounts and ingredients and steps will be down below for you. Pinch of salt, some rapid rise or instant yeast, a couple teaspoons of olive oil, and then we'll follow that up with maybe 1.5 cups or so of water, but again, check the description down below. And then we're just going to grab a spatula, and as I said before, this is a no-knead recipe, so you're going to just stir until that forms a shaggy dough ball. Continue to work it until all that flour and liquid and oil are well combined, and then just cover it with some aluminum foil or a kitchen towel and let it proof for at least 8 hours up to 24 hours in the fridge, even better. We're going to make a pizza sauce here with some tomato sauce and some tomato paste. We'll get some extra flavor in there with some garlic powder and onion powder, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of red pepper flakes for some heat, that part's optional, and then a good seasoning with some fresh cracked pepper, a pinch of salt, and a few good rips of sugar for a little sweetness to offset the acidity of the tomatoes. Then we'll just go in there and whisk all of that to combine. That makes enough for about 4 pizzas, so definitely jar that up and save it. It'll be good to go down the road when you are ready to make more pizzas. Now, I've got all of our dough turned out onto a well-floured work surface. This is actually 24 hours later, and it has really formed some wonderful gluten over 24 hours in the fridge, and some really great flavors as well from that yeast having all that time to ferment away. So we're going to form this into 2 dough balls, and again, no kneading really required here. You just want to stretch it and form it into a rough ball shape. And then we are going to, of course, freshly grate some low moisture part skim mozzarella. It's the best kind of melting cheese for a pizza, if you ask my opinion, and we would never use the pre-grated stuff, would we? No. I've got a 12-inch cast iron skillet. This is actually written for a 10-inch skillet, so we are not going to stretch the dough quite all the way to the edge. You could do the same if you have a 12-inch skillet. If you have a 10-inch, that would be perfect. We're going to go in with some olive oil so it doesn't stick to the bottom, and then to stretch the dough out. If it starts to fight you and spring back, just walk away, give it 10 to 15 minutes to get a hold of itself, and then go ahead and finish stretching that dough out mostly to the edge, or again, if you're using a 10-inch skillet, you can go all the way to the edge. Next up, we are going to generously top this. This is a lot of dough. This is not a thin crust pizza, so you want to go in with at least 1/3 cup or so of that pizza sauce and spread it all the way to the edge, nice and evenly. We want some sauce in every bite. Same thing with the cheese. Don't feel the need to leave a nice big crust here, just cheese from edge to edge. Plenty of pepperoni, got plenty of dough to hold all these wonderful toppings. And of course, you can put down any toppings that you like, but I'm keeping it simple with some pepperoni and just a few torn fresh mushrooms. We'll pop that into a 500 degree or 550 if you can manage it oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until the cheese is golden brown and bubbly. That dough is nicely cooked through. I'm going to top this with some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. That nice salty, funky tang at the end. And then I love fresh herbs on pizza, and no fresh herb is better than basil, so I'll put down a few basil leaves. Some fresh oregano would be wonderful as well. And we'll just cut this pie up. Now you can see it is not too thick, but it does have a nice crumb to it. Some nice big air pockets there in that crust. That's thanks to that long fermentation and rise. And probably should have let this cool off for a minute, but had to go in for a taste test, man. If you're looking for a doughier, thicker slice of pizza and don't want to reach into the frozen aisle, this is the way to go. You can always make extra dough and keep it in the freezer. Just defrost it for a few hours before you're ready to use it. That way you don't have to wait 24 hours for a great bite of pizza pie. Anyways, hope you'll give this recipe a try. Pizza is one of the most beloved foods worldwide, and I think it's for a good reason. Check out this recipe. Let me know what you think. And if nothing else, go make something delicious.